So, hello everybody. There's been a change of plans. Dr. Caridi is stuck in the well, he's not stuck. He's working in the OR right now. And he is actually doing a case with Dr. David Langer and is unable to give his presentation. So I've been the past 30 minutes just been throwing together my own little presentation. I'm actually going to be presenting on my own case. It's a very interesting, unique case. And it's something that I think would be good, especially for those of you who are interested in going into neurosurgical spine or orthopedic spine care. This is something, or even just if you're wanting to go into primary care, this is a condition that's very dangerous. And I was misdiagnosed twice, and it could have led to permanent repercussions for my health. So I thought that I would just kind of step on my soapbox and share about this. Before I begin, I didn't give like a formal introduction of who I am yesterday during the webinar series. My name's Hannah Flam. I'm a project manager with the Department of Neurosurgery, and I do primarily social media marketing, digital marketing, and I manage our educational programs, both continuing medical education programs for maintenance of certification for our different clinicians throughout our practice. And I also help facilitate the internship programs and webinar series that we facilitate. So just a little background on what I do here at Lenox Hill. What was I doing before I was at Lenox Hill? Well, I actually went to school for musical theater performance at the University of Michigan. And woo, go blue. Is anybody else a Wolverine? Do we have any other Wolverines in here? Let's see. Well, if we do, hello. I love you. Go blue. Yes, so I studied musical theater performance at the University of Michigan, and then I moved to New York in 2016 to pursue a career in commercial theater. My goal was to be on Broadway. I performed regionally at different regional theaters and also in New York City in concerts and readings. And I was getting very close to accomplishing this goal. I was in final callbacks for a few Broadway shows. And so I was on track and was doing really well in my career. I am a dancer. And so I was going in for a lot of dance calls. And what's my favorite musical? Sunday in the Park with George. Boom. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's the most beautiful musical ever written. It's by Stephen Sondheim, the late great Stephen Sondheim. Just that show it has a very special place in my heart. It's also like about art and what it means to be an artist and having your own voice as an artist. So just beautiful, beautiful story, and the music is just stunning. But yeah, I was auditioning, and with musical theater auditions, like you go in and like you know what the show is. Sometimes it's a show where like there's already choreography set, like if you're going in for a replacement track, so you can kind of know what to expect. Sometimes they throw brand new choreography at you and you have no idea what to expect. So you just kind of like warm up as best as you can and throw yourself in there and hope that you can perform well under pressure. I was in an audition, and it was they did something where they wanted to kind of type out the dancers, so they threw a really hard combination at us. And while I was doing the combination, I did a big bot ma, aka I kicked my face and I felt something pull in my back. And this was in, I believe, October of 2019. And after I did that, I was like, oh no, like something doesn't feel right. I started having radiating pain down my left leg from my glute all the way to my heel. I was doing a concert at the time in the city, and I'm like, okay, like I need to just push through. And get through this concert. I'll go to the doctor after the performances are over because it was a relatively quick rehearsal process, and it was only a one night performance. So um, I was like, okay, I'll go to the doctor after the show closes. Did the show, was in pain, but I was able to make it through, still having the shooting pain down my leg. And then I had a death in my family. So I was like, oh, well, I'll take care of myself after I go home and deal with this. And even when I was home, my mom was like, Hannah, are you okay? You seem like you're in a lot of pain. And I was just kind of I pushing myself. I was really focused on my career and just trying to accomplish my goals. And I just completely started neglecting myself and was putting everything and everyone else above myself. And that was a very bad idea because what ended up happening was my pain continued to get worse. I finally made a doctor's appointment and was going to see an orthopedic to see what was going on. I was going to a chiropractor to manage my symptoms in the meantime. I thought all of this was having to do with another issue I've had since I was 13. I had SI joint dysfunction. So my sacroiliac joint is very unstable and would go out, and then I'd have lower back pain and pain in my glutes. So that's what I thought was going on. And I went to the chiropractor the day after my birthday. I just turned 26. This was December 2nd. I was on my parents' insurance until January 31st, or no, until January 1st of 2020. So this timing was kind of crazy. I went to the chiropractor December 2nd. He adjusted me. I left his office. And when I was trying to walk to the train, I was like, I can't walk. And the only position that felt good to be in was in the fetal position. And so I took a cab home, got into the fetal position. And then after I tried to stand, I could not stand up. I was stuck in spinal flexion, hunched over like a witch. And that's when I started having this it was the most excruciating pain in my life in my low back. And I started to have some more neurological symptoms. The backs of both of my legs went completely numb, and both my feet went completely numb. And I went to an orthopedic urgent care, and they were like, you're having a back spasm. Here are some muscle relaxers and acetaminophen. And then a few days later, I was like, this is really bad. I went to my primary care physician, and this is where I started to have where this is like the main symptom of Cauda Equina syndrome. And I'm actually gonna share my screen. I put together a presentation real fast just to kind of overview what this condition is. So I have so many things popping up. So I started having perianal numbness or numbness underneath my pelvis. And I could not tell, like I could still sense when I had to go to the bathroom, but when I was going to the bathroom, I couldn't tell if anything was coming out. It was completely numb. This is why this condition is so dangerous. So this is the cauda equina nerve right here. It's at the root of the spine. The cauda equina nerve is actually named after it's a Latin term for the horsetail. It looks like almost like a horse's tail. It's a collection of nerves at the base of your lumbar spine. Um, and essentially what Cauda equina syndrome is when these nerve roots are impinged. And what can happen is these nerves, again, like I was saying, I couldn't feel underneath my pelvis. They control the sensations to your legs and your bladder and your bowels. So if the nerve is compressed for too long, can lead to permanent damage to these nerves, which can lead to paralysis and even incontinence. Now, again, I just turned 26. I was very young, healthy athlete, and this happened to me. Typically, this happens to older people. So I think that's also why my doctors were like, oh, you're having a back spasm, you're fine, you're young, you're strong, you're healthy. It can happen to anybody. What ended up happening for me was I had herniated my disc between my L4, L5 vertebrae. Here's the MRI here. You can see it was a pretty severe herniation. This is the sagittal view, and the axial view, you can barely see the spinal canal because it was just so impinged. And I actually didn't get an MRI until I went to my orthopedic finally. This was like I think like 6 days after things started going really downhill. I went to my orthopedic and she immediately was like, oh no, this is not good. And she took my symptoms very seriously. She did some tests to test my sensations on my legs and in my pelvic region, and was very calm about everything. And she said, okay, I think this is what's happening. I think you herniated a disc in your lumbar spine. And I'm going to send you to the emergency room so you can get an MRI. If it turns out you herniated this disc, you will need to have surgery. And what ended up happening was exactly that. I went to the ER, I had the MRI. So this is the sagittal view. The difference between the sagittal and the axial view. So sagittal view is as if you're like looking at my spine this way, from side to side. Axial view is as if you cut me in half and then you were looking from the top down. So that's the difference between those two views. So this is the top down view here, this axial view, and this is the side to side view, that sagittal view. When I got to the ER, it was so funny because again, like it's not funny, but I feel like prior to this, my pain was just dismissed. My symptoms were dismissed. My doctors were like, you're having a back spasm. And that was it. And as soon as I saw my orthopedic, she like took charge and she wanted to make sure that I got the care that I desperately needed because she knew how urgent the situation was and the potential for permanent nerve damage in my legs, my feet, and again, my perianal region. So she made sure, actually, I was all by myself. My family lives in Minnesota. And so she actually called me a cab from her practice. She was at NYU. And she sent me to the NYU Tisch Hospital, called me to make sure that I made it to the hospital safe. And then she called me the next day to make sure that I was okay. So I'm just really grateful for how she went above and beyond to ensure that I got the care I needed and also had the support I needed while I was by myself. My mom was able to come in and fly in the next day and be with me the next day um, while I was in recovery. And I stayed at the hospital for 2 nights before going home. The timing of this again was really crazy because I had just turned 26 and was on my parents' insurance until January 1st of 2020. And it's crazy too, because if you think about COVID and when there was the huge surge in COVID cases in New York City, I just missed that. So the timing worked out in a very strange way. The recovery was it took a while. This is me actually in the ER here. I tried to stay as positive as I could, but behind the scenes, literally I was in a ball in the worst pain of my life. This is about a month after surgery here in this picture. I was on the street of my neighborhood, and something that was really big for me in my initial recovery was walking and just trying to get my stamina back up. What was pretty remarkable about the procedure, I had a lumbar laminectomy and microdiscectomy. I was trying to pull together some more clinical information to share with you guys. I didn't have a lot of time to put this presentation together, so I apologize. I don't have some images to show you, but I'm just pulling some pictures here. Lumbar. So basically with a lumbar laminectomy, what they'll do is they'll remove the lamina from the vertebrae so that they can get to the disc and excise the piece of the disc that is impinging your spinal cord. Now, depending on like the type of case and like the patient, sometimes they'll take the disc out completely if there's not like really any disc that's going to be there to support. and provide that cushion between the vertebrae. They'll take it out completely and fuse the spine. Sometimes they'll excise out a little bit of that piece of the disc and fuse the spine using hardware. Luckily, I didn't need a spinal fusion, so I still have full mobility in my lumbar vertebrae. The surgery was performed. This is my L4 vertebrae here, and this is my L5 vertebrae here. So it was performed between my L4, L5 vertebrae. Recovery, I was in physical therapy for a year because I was wanting to get back to dancing again, and I wanted to get back to performing at a high level. So I was in physical therapy longer than probably the general population would be, just again because I had such specific goals. And part of my therapy, we did cupping, we did electrostimulation, um, different types of like fascial release work to just try to get everything back in order and functioning again. In addition, because of the lumbar laminectomy, they took out a little bit of the vertebrae. So there's some instability. My structure's not the same. If you think of the spine like a building, if you take out like a little bit of that supporting structure, it's going to change the stability of the building. So I really had to strengthen my muscles to really support my spine, really strengthen my core to make sure that I wasn't going to strain my back. And so I made a full recovery and was doing really well until I slipped and fell on ice. And I'm pretty sure that's how I re-herniated the disc that I had surgery on. In addition, the disc between my L5 S1 was already herniated. That was herniated actually the first time when I had my first surgery. I didn't realize how that wasn't something on my radar because the injury to my disc between my L4 L5 was so severe that was what we were focusing on. But I did have a small herniation between my disc between L5 S1 as well, and I slipped and fell on ice in 2022, 2 years after my surgery. And I believe that's when the discs started to herniate again. I was really trying my best to continue with my home exercise routine. I'm actually a Pilates instructor, and so I was doing lots of Pilates to strengthen my core, keep my body as strong as I possibly could. And last year, I started to really struggle with managing my symptoms. I was having nerve pain down my left leg again from my glute to my heel. I was having really bad low back pain. I was having to walk around with a cane. At this point, I'm like 20. How old was I last year? I was 29. So I'm still like a very young person and I'm able-bodied, but I felt very debilitated by my symptoms and it was affecting my quality of life, my mental health. It was very frustrating to go through this again, but I ended up having a lot of support. I started working here at Lenox Hill in the fall of 2022. And I think, yes, it was the fall of 2022. And I had a lot of support from my team members here at Lenox Hill. So I felt really lucky. This is Dr. John Caridi here. He was the one who was supposed to be giving this presentation. I know he's not doing like a case study with you, but kind of I'm a living case study, I guess. I was consulting with him and I had been seeing him asking whether or not like he thinks I need to have surgery again. And because I'm so young, and again, we already had done surgery, there's some instability in the structure of my spine. He thought it would be best to wait to move forward with surgery and to pursue pain management options and to do pain management. So I did have an epidural injection, and it worked for like 2 days. And then my pain got really bad again. And so we decided to move forward with the surgery. Um, again, I do the social media marketing for our department, and I was like, well, I feel like I should document my journey. So I made actually a little video of my surgery, and because this was my second surgery, I was just really trying to be positive and just try not to like let it bring me down. So I like got all dressed up. I wore fancy jammies to the hospital, and I made this little reel just to kind of show just to kind of just document this for myself and share with other people. Let's see if it'll play. Oh, so there's me. Basically, my bed frame was a hot mess and it was not helping my back, and my mattress was not good. So I got a brand new mattress and a brand new bed frame right before my surgery to make sure that I had a good setup. This was me getting ready the night before. I was really actually more nervous about like going to the hospital with no makeup on and my colleagues seeing me like naked in the OR. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a whole self-care routine. I did like whole skincare, give myself a facial the night before. And then the morning of, I did some more skincare. I woke up at 4:30 to head to the hospital. I There's me doing my skincare, try to be an influencer. Here are my fancy jammies. I decided to feel comfortable and try to feel as fabulous as I could, try to go in with a positive mindset. So there's me in my fancy jammies. Here's me. I had just checked in. I got admitted. Here's me in the pre-op area, looking fabulous in my surgical gown. And this is me immediately after the surgery. I woke up, and it was funny because some of my colleagues came to visit me, and they're like, oh my God, you're so happy. And like, you seem like completely normal. And this happened both times I had surgery, where I woke up and immediately my nerve pain was gone. It was like a magic switch had been, turned on, and I felt like myself immediately. That's what's pretty remarkable about like microdiscectomies and without the fusion. A fusion is much more painful and it's a longer recovery if you don't need a fusion. I Not that my recovery hasn't been painless, it's been hard. I've had this was in February of this year. So let's see, it's been 5 months. It's been exactly 5 months. July 8th was 5 months. So 5 months. How have I been doing? I've been doing a lot of the same things that I was doing before. During my first recovery, I have been in physical therapy. I've been doing my home exercise routine. I've had to adjust my lifestyle a little bit so that I can take care of myself. Thank goodness um, um, for Amazon Fresh and like being able to get my groceries delivered, because that's really helped me. Both the first time I had surgery and this time I had surgery, I wasn't able to lift more than 10 pounds for 6 weeks. So I had to be really, really careful. I also wasn't able to bend or twist. I had to keep my spine in a very neutral position. And so a lot of the work that I've been doing in physical therapy is not only like strengthening my core and strengthening my glutes to get my body like prepared to, be active again. A lot of it too has been mobility work and stretching out my muscles because they got very tight. They were also, I think they were guarding and they were trying to protect as much as they could and try to like keep things as stable as possible. So there's been a lot of like muscular re-education going on with my current recovery journey. I Actually, after my first surgery, I was able to get back to dancing again and take dance classes again and do Pilates again, and do everything without any restrictions. So I'm hoping now that again I'm on the same very similar journey. It's not the same, it's similar, but I'm hoping that I can again return to dancing. It's gonna be different, and I've come to terms with that, and I'm okay with that. the way that I was dancing before my injury, it was a very high level of dancing, and I was doing some like very difficult movements that required like extreme back extension or bending my back and things like that. So I'm not going to put pressure on myself to get back to that level. And like, I was also doing like gymnastics, like front and back walkovers in high heels, like crazy things. So I'm not expecting to get back to doing that, but I am hopeful that I will be able to start taking dance classes again soon. I'm getting really close to being at that point in my recovery where I'm able to do so. Um, so now like I said, I was performing, I was a musical theater actress, singer, dancer, and now I work in healthcare. So how did that happen? And I thought I would just share a little bit about my healthcare career journey, because I know most of you already are like, I want to pursue a career in healthcare, and this is what my plan is. But as I've been sharing, sometimes, life happens, and, things change, and that's okay if your career journey doesn't pan out the way you're expecting. There are, so many opportunities that are available to you that you might not necessarily see right now, because you're so focused on your career goals. For me, after my back surgery, my first back surgery, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can be a musical theater performer anymore. Like, I don't know if this is sustainable. I was kind of traumatized by everything. And again, I was so focused on my career and my goal of being a Broadway dancer that I was not taking care of myself and my physical health. And so I was looking for some stability in my life, and I was looking for a way to make money where I could like focus, like not have to use my body as much. So I was thinking about actually going back to school to become a physical therapist. I've been a dancer since I was 3. I started doing Pilates when I was 13. Have always been very interested in anatomy and kinesiology. And before I decided to go to school for musical theater, I was thinking I wanted to go to school to be a physical therapist. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll go back to school and become a physical therapist. And I thought a good way for me to kind of do some research and see if it was going to be a good fit would actually be to apply for a job at a physical therapy practice. So I applied for a role as a patient care coordinator, as an entry-level administrative position. And I found not only that I really enjoyed like getting to learn new skills and like apply the skills that I had learned at the University of Michigan. Um, um, and and like I feel like it's just such a great program. There I got to take different liberal arts courses, including like one in marketing, and I took one in I took an anatomy course. It was musculoskeletal anatomy. So I feel like there were like things that lent to this role, and I enjoyed getting to develop as a professional and an administrator. But I also really found it rewarding to work with patients after what I had experienced, and to provide them with administrative support when they're feeling anxious about their bodies, and to be able to alleviate the clerical anxiety that comes with receiving healthcare. It brought me a lot of joy. So I worked as a patient care coordinator for a year, and then I was promoted to doing training and development, which again, I'm a Pilates instructor, so I was able to kind of transfer those skills of teaching to training and training administrators on our clerical practices and processes. And so I did that. And then got I was offered a job opportunity at an orthopedic surgery practice. So it was workers' comp and no fault, so completely different. The physical therapy practice I was working at, we accepted some workers' comp and no fault, but we primarily were dealing with commercial insurance. So it was a very big shift in terms of like the clerical processes and learning um, how to communicate with the workers' comp board, patients, personal injury attorneys, etc. It was a big learning curve, but I enjoyed learning that. And so I was the training director there. And then I also was the assistant practice manager. And then I realized, well, I was doing all this training and development and uh, creating training manuals um, for our team and also creating educational materials for our patients. I was doing a lot of copyright and design, and I was like, oh, I really like this. And the job that I'm currently in now at Lenox Hill, I'm a project manager, meaning I do a lot of things. So it's kind of hard to like encompass my role in one title, but my role, I do, again, I do assist with our educational programming, both our internship programs like brain turns and internships that we facilitate here on site at Lenox Hill, our continuing medical education programming. I do I create patient educational materials. I do some copywriting and I help keep our website up to date and help build out web pages for our website so we can market our practice. I manage our social media, our Instagram. I do a lot of different things, and I feel like in a weird way, my hodgepodge background really lends to this role. And it's again, like I was like, I don't know, like what's gonna happen next after I injured my back in 2019. But everything's worked out, and it's weird how sometimes like life happens and it's not what you expected or wanted, but it leads you in a completely different direction that was even better than you imagined. And I have to say, like working here at Lenox Hill Neurosurgery has been like such a privilege and honor and a joy. It's been um like such a great opportunity for me to continue developing my skills, to work with patients, to help tell their stories. It's been just very rewarding. And so I'm happy that I'm on the other side of all of this, all of my own personal surgeries, but I'm also really grateful to our team here at Lenox Hill for providing me with the support I needed and the care I needed. I'm biased because I work here, but I see how they treat our patients in both the clinical sense and also their rapport with our patients, our providers, and they truly care about everybody that they see. So it's really such a privilege to be able to like kind of give back after everything I've experienced and to help patients, understanding how difficult it can be to go through surgery and a big journey like this. Do I feel like my height made my pain more severe? You know what? I have some theories. I am hypermobile. So like my joints are really lax and they go further than they're supposed to. Um, I'm gonna go back to my CT. Here's so this is my original MRI. Um, I feel like my height has definitely contributed to injuries that I've had throughout my career as a dancer. And um, I I am 6 feet tall, so I'm very, very tall. And again, just because I'm hypermobile, there's a lot of instability in my joints. So I do think that was a contributing factor to my injuries. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Let's see. I'm going to I'm kind of done with my presentation. Do you guys have any more questions for me? Oh my goodness. Brianna, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that pain. One of our brain turns was saying that she had a herniated disc between her L4, L5, and was also misdiagnosed and had to really modify her lifestyle. And oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that you've been going through that. I can imagine it's been super frustrating, and I know how the pain can be really debilitating and not only like affect your physical health, but your mental health. So I just want you to know, like, your your feelings are so valid. And it's okay to be upset that you're in pain. Don't allow that to like stop you though from pursuing um options to resolve your pain, whether that's working with a pain management doctor, doing acupuncture. There's a lot of different alternative medicines that are available now that can be really, really beneficial and therapeutic. So I'm really, again, I'm sorry you're going through that, Brianna. It sounds like you've been working really hard to take care of yourself, and I'm sending you healing energy. I hope you find some relief soon. And thank you for your service and volunteering with kids with disabilities. That's amazing. It sounds like that you have a really compassionate, caring heart and can empathize and provide them with a lot of support and care. So um, let's see. Oh, you
Hannah,
guys are so sweet.
Hannah, could you go to the next slide? I think somebody asked if to see the,
Yes.
I don't know if,
This one,
I don't know, whoever asked if you wanna, maybe,
maybe this one where this is my MRI from, I believe this was January of 2024. Um,
yes, Hannah is such a star.
Thanks, guys. Also, thank you for this was a kind of a last minute presentation, so I appreciate you going along with my rambling and mumblings. This is I'm very passionate about sharing my story, and not just with people who are struggling with chronic pain, but again with people who are going to be the healthcare providers of our future, because I feel like there's a lot of lessons you can learn from this. Um, if you ever are like a nurse, a PA, um, uh, a doctor, you have a patient come in and they're like, I can't feel underneath my pelvis. Send them to the emergency room immediately. Do not wait. I have been told by many of our providers here, like, that is outrageous that that happened to me and that shouldn't have happened. So I just like that's the biggest takeaway I hope you guys get for future clinicians, is that if somebody's like, I can't feel under there, they need to get an MRI immediately. Whether you set up that appointment the same day or they go to the emergency room, they need care immediately. It's a very emergent situation. And unfortunately, like I would my care was delayed because of that. I got lucky. Actually, I do have some permanent nerve damage in my left foot. I can't feel my left foot all the way, but I've regained sensation everywhere, so I'll take it. But part of me is like wondering, I'm like, well, would that have happened? Like, would I be able to feel my left foot today if when I went to that urgent care initially, if they had sent me to the ER? So that's like the biggest takeaway I want you guys to take from this, and to also just have an understanding of what Cauda Equina syndrome is and why it is so severe. Again, it's more common in uh older patients, but it doesn't mean it can't happen to somebody who's young, especially athletes, where they're doing high impact activities. It can absolutely happen to them as well.
Yeah. Someone asked what your favorite dance move is.
That's my favorite dance move. Ooh, I love pirouettes. I'm a turner, so I love spinning. I'm also, there's this move in ballet. It's so funny. It's like you do it at the bar. You don't do it necessarily like when you're when you're dancing like on the floor, but I'll do it with my arm. It's funny because everybody has a different name for it. You kick your leg up, you turn your knee in and out, and then you kick it back up. And you usually do it when you're doing grand battements at the bar. We call it chili willy. I've heard it called a lot of different things, but that's so I'm gonna go with the chili willy too. I love the chili willy. Um, yes, you call it a
Okay.
swivel. Yes, see, there's different names for it. It's not like a traditional like I mean they like most dance companies like they'll add it in their bar, but everybody has a different names for it. Yes, I'm a jumper. Yes. Oh, I love that we have so many dancers in the chat. Yes. We've heard people call it a pretzel. Yeah, who knows what it's called? It's just you're like with your leg, and it's fun, and it also helps you like it's really like a move to kind of help you like find your end range in your Batman and reach that end range. Ooh, someone said, Hannah, you give me Broadway energy. Have you tried acting? You're in New York. Best of luck in the recovery. Yes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, so I went to school for musical theater performance and was auditioning for film, TV, theater, musicals, doing that for the first 4 years that I was living in this city. I don't know how, but I still have an agent. I don't know how. They don't really submit me for anything. And like I haven't auditioned for a while. The last audition, like big audition I did, I actually went in for Funny Girl on Broadway, which was like that was after my first surgery. And the fact that I was invited for the in-person dance call was just a huge achievement for me and accomplishment for me. I'm like, I don't care if I book this, I'm just so happy to be here. So I feel um like my foot, like I still have my foot in the door a little bit with theater and performing. I actually last year I was really missing being on stage, so I started doing stand-up comedy for fun. Which I'm like delusional because everyone's like, isn't that terrifying? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like I've really embarrassed myself in auditions before, so I'm like, I don't feel like I can embarrass myself that much anymore. But yes, I started doing stand-up comedy last year. I'm hoping to get back to it soon. I haven't been able to do it because I've been this year yeah, just because I've been like really focused on my health. But I still like sing on my own and work on rep on my own. And I'm hoping that one day I can return to this stage. I don't know if the timing is right now. But that is a hope that I have, and I'm not opposed to going back. I think with everything that I've been going through with my physical health, I'm like just trying to get better and make sure I'm in a good place. Oh yeah, no, stand up is wild. I don't know. I'm delusional. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do stand-up comedy. I don't even know if I'm that funny, but it's just been fun and it's been just a way for me to get back on stage and be creative. And so um I guess another antidote is like with this, just with stand-up comedy and like everything that I've done with like my career, like don't be afraid to try new things. You never know what it's gonna lead to. I had no idea when I started working at that physical therapy practice in 2020 that I would end up here. And so it's just been really an incredible journey. And so don't limit yourself, and don't be afraid to take leaps of faith if it feels right to you. And it's okay if your career plans change. You're going to be able to figure it out, and may lead to something that is even better than you were hoping initially.
Yeah, for sure. Hannah, I have a question. What's
Yeah.
your go-to, like your go-to song?
Oh my gosh. Well, right now, I feel like I'm like Sabrina Carpenter is like taken over,
Yeah.
taken over my brain, and I'm always singing Please, Please, Please. Also Chapel Roan, Good Luck Babe is like one of my go-tos, Espresso, musical theater songs. What have I been singing? I love The Producers. It's one of my favorite musicals. So when I'm in the shower, I'll just belt out When You Got It, Flaunt It. That's also one of my dream roles. I got to understudy Ula. Her name is Ula Inga Hansen, Vincent Janssen, Holland, Tallen, Svaden, Svansen. I got to understudy her once, and I didn't get to go on, but that's always been a dream of mine, is to play her in a show. She's just, you can tell by her name, she's kind of a caricature, ridiculous character, but very fun. Yeah, I guess a favorite role that I played Miss Adelaide in Guys and Dolls, my senior year at the University of Michigan, and I talk like this, and it was real fun.
Love it. I love it. I feel you on the Sabrina Carpenter. I feel like I'm always
Yes,
walking around my lab and just like, please, please, please. It's just in my head. And I'm like,
I know, it's taken
stop.
over.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to
I'm
stop.
happy she's having her moment. She deserves it. She's been working really hard for the past several years on her music career, and so I'm happy to see that she's thriving. And also the resurgence in pop. The pop girlies have finally shown up and shown out. So happy that pop is back.
Yes, she is definitely living rent free in all of our heads.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I'm living for her and her boyfriend. That's so random, but I'm obsessed with them.
Very.
Yes, I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I know. I'm a fan of them too. It is funny because Please Please Please, like, he is like kind of a bad boy and has a reputation, but he seems like he's treating her really well and they seem really happy. So I'm shipping them. I hope that they work out.
Their style, yeah.
Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, we'll take like a 10-minute break. And then when we come back, Dr. Christian Ferreira is going to be hopping on. Dr. Ben Shalom is unable to hop on because this is the thing with healthcare. We try to plan these things, and then healthcare is a little unpredictable sometimes with scheduling. So he's not able to hop on. But Dr. Christian Ferreira, he's from Brazil. He just completed his cerebrovascular surgery fellowship here at Lenox Hill Hospital. He is a cerebrovascular surgeon, and he will be discussing global pathways to healthcare. In the comments, who can our Brazilian students give us a little shout out? Let's see, do we have any students from Brazil? Here. Hey, hey, yes. Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in from Brazil. So happy to have you. So we're excited to have Dr. Christian Ferreira on, and he'll be sharing all about his medical career journey. All right.
We will take a 10-minute-ish break.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christy and Samantha, again for moderating the webinar. And yeah, and thank you all for tuning in. It was a pleasure speaking with you. If you have any questions, I'll put my email in the chat. My email is also on the Brain Turns website. So if you guys have any questions about the Brain Turns programming, oh, I just sent that to you guys, and oh, oops, I need to send to everyone. But if you guys have any questions about the Brain Turns programming, about our educational programming at Lenox Hill Hospital, feel free to reach out to me. And I wish you all the best, and we'll see you at 11.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thanks, Samantha. Thanks, Christy.